once again, the sounds of Troy Remy and the Soul Searchers. Y'all, it's about time for me to get on out of here. About to put my feet on the floor, the big white hat out the door. But as I get ready to leave you, I want to let you know Lee Williams said, have a good time. You finna make room for the open line. Well, you got to have an open mind. Brother G got you a hot topic. So you can get ready. Him and his sidekick, Sister Khadijah. The queen coming at you in a few. So God bless you. We pray that what you've heard on today would help you to recognize the 4 T's that you've been blessed with: time, thought, talent, and treasure. That you would pass one of them T's to somebody as you journey on today. Well, let's have a good time. Come on, children.
Ben Quinn still working?
Huh?
Ben still
I guess. I don't know.
in case we have some hot miles in here.
Huh.
Put that hot air out of there. Ever Lee Dillon. So me and Wallace tried to direct his show in the AOC, trying to get him on to come on the AOC. And I'm asking him, why you lie and say the federal government is dropping them immigrants? You know that's your people, the Sanders and Texas government is dropping them people in the black cities. Go ahead, nigga. Brother T, you can come on and drink a cup of coffee. You're not gonna I'm gonna take care of you. I said myself. I knew you would take care of me. I'll never be the same I drink this coffee. Yeah, I take money, Brother J, I take money from if the Democrats give me money, I'm gonna take it. If the Republicans give me money, I'm gonna take it and spend it the way I was born and born enough.
What this supposed to be?
Going to Windows update, you don't worry about it. Yeah, if you wanted to start it now, it take a little while.
Yeah.
You don't need that.
Come on. Come on.
Good morning, Brother Phil. Let me know if you come on for any amount of time in between that time of 9 Central and 11.
You ready? All right.
We want to remind you that the Open Line Radio Show is powered by Finders Keepers, 1006 Surrey Street, Lafayette.
The Open Line Radio Show is supported in part by Finders Keepers Home Improvement Store, the place with your residential hardware needs, small engines, outdoor power equipment, bathroom accessories, electronics, lighting, plumbing, and everything in between. Located in the Southern Development Office Building at 1006 Surrey Street, Lafayette. Telephone 3377808149. That's Finders Keepers Home Improvement.
Hi fans, this is your favorite actor. When I am in the Lafayette area, I listen to the Open Line Radio Show with Sister Kadisha and Brother Jay. Heard exclusively on KIEE 88.3, your superstation for South Louisiana.
You are now listening to South Louisiana's #1 radio talk show, the Open Line Radio Show on your superstation, KIEE 88.3, your community source.
Hello, community.
Greetings, brothers and sisters. Welcome to the Open Line. I'm Brother Jay. I'll be here with my co-host, Sister Khadijah. Stay tuned and relax for the Open Line on KIEE 88.3, your superstation.
Welcome to the Open Line on KIEE 88.3, your superstation. The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers and are not necessarily those of KIEE 88.3 staff or management. Thanks for listening.
We are interactive and live. Call us at area code 337-534-0036. That's 337-534-0036. On the Open Line Radio Show on KIEE 88.3 FM, your superstation for South Louisiana.
It's summer, and it's hot. At KIEE 88.3 FM, your superstation for South Louisiana, we have the hottest talk and informational shows on the air, heating it up for the community. Tune in every Wednesday for the Open Line Radio Show with Brother Jay and Sister Khadijah. Tune in on Fridays for Business to Business with Mr. June Andrus. On Saturday morning, educate and get informed on the latest technology and entertainment news with Brother Jay on the People's Tech and Entertainment Show. Yes, it's hot and it's summer, so stay cool with your favorite talk and informational shows here on KIEE 88.3 FM, your superstation for South Louisiana. Listen online. Go to KIEEFM.com. That's KIEEFM.com.
Have you ever looked in a face of age? I'll lend your ears to what an old man had to say. 'Cause every generation of his life reflects a movie scene, often more than twice. Child is born to live within the master plan. Boy grows up, leaves his home to be a man. Vintage years of wine for the wise. Every generation of our lives. rise and plant your seeds in the early spring. Summer's gone away, winter's back again. Yeah. 'Cause every generation of our life reflects a movie scene, often more than twice. Time will make us change, nothing stays the same. A fool gets stung, hides his heart, and plays the game. 'Cause every generation of our life reflects a movie scene, often more than twice. Yeah.
Good morning. Hotep Habarigani, Assalamu alaikum. I'm Sister Khadijah, along with our beautiful guest, Attorney Dua, and along with our part-time engineer, Brother G. It's another beautiful day, but it's another hot day. They are asking people, if you don't have to go nowhere, stay inside and be cool. They're asking you to also check on your neighbors, check on your family members. Just check, because that heat ain't nothing nice. Also, we wanted to send our deepest sympathy to the family of Draper Anthony, the family of DJ Jazzy Leon, Jazzy Leon Jeff, and to anyone who have lost someone by the hands of a fool, anyone that have lost a loved one. Attorney Dua, Brother J.
Miss y'all these past couple of weeks. I've been in court. They ain't really been working me my birthday month. But before we get started, let me throw out my disclaimer. Any information obtained here today is strictly informational. No attorney-client relationship or privilege has formed. If y'all need to get in contact with me, y'all can contact me at 337-534-4020. Once again, 337-534-4020. And speaking of that heat, I was on the highway the other day, and the grass was just catching on fire because it was so hot. So the heat is no joke. So make sure you're checking on your friends and loved ones.
Yeah, some people don't believe in global warming. That's for all these political races coming out. Be careful who you elect, what their belief system is. Listen, good morning, South Louisiana. We're so happy to have attorney Dua Smith, affectionately nicknamed Dua, back in the studio. Sister Khadijah's back.
Where did she go?
Well, you went yesterday. You were on the radio, and you commandeered me on the radio.
Okay,
but that's okay. That's okay. It's all good. But we want people to know that we appreciate the staff and management of Southern Development, Mr. John Freeman, Mr. Charles, not Mr. Charlie, Mr. Charles, for all the fine work in helping facilitating these shows. And before I roll into Attorney Smith, I want to know, in your neck of the woods where you from, they just had a press conference yesterday with Attorney Ben Crump coming back on the Ronald Green case. And the thing is, people say, well, these people, these celebrity lawyers and stuff, what they wanted publicity. No, I think sometimes, Khadijah, to light a fire under the powers that be, we have to have some type of, let's say, shock value when it comes to cases like Ronald Green, which is basically stalling. I hate to be critical, but we know the local district attorney and the people they hired to bring it on, they kind of somewhat dropped the case, Sister Khadijah. And you know, you and I have been following this case. We've been pushing out the information in this area. And Miss Mona Harden said she did appreciate you and all the work you're doing
over here. But
it's a
something
team
has to be
effort.
done, because if we let this thing go with the Louisiana State Police, think about what happened with Mr. Bowman, the other man who was beat within an inch of his life by a state trooper, and that state trooper was exonerated.
That's right. That is exactly right. They showing you right up in black and white. Black and white. And also, I'm sorry, I forgot to also mention that DJ Harding, boy from Jeanerette, he lost his life too.
Wow.
Yes. And so it's it's the open line. Ask a lawyer 337-534-0036 or 337-534-0042.
You seem somewhat subdued this morning. You win, Attorney Smith. Y'all seem so, low energy. Say like Donald Trump, he would not gonna be on the stage tonight. Low energy going on in this house. Come on, man.
Not low
Pick
energy.
it up.
Well, I have some downtime. I've been in court so much, so like when I'm out of court,
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's just go ahead with Ask a Lawyer.
And being in court, did you have a chance to see the new laws? They have some new laws actually that took effect in August also.
I did not. I'm sure you have a copy.
Yeah.
Let me see what's going on. Let's discuss a couple of these. What's some of the big topics?
Well, it's still having to do with criminal justice reforms in the state of Louisiana, and that's an ongoing topic.
Right.
Now, in this other case that's right up in the beginning of the week, yes, there were five people that were picked up on a rape charge, and it's like it happened like some 12, 15 years ago. I'm not exactly sure, but they like boasting about this case, saying that this case is going to be a really huge case because they were able to find their DNA on a woman, which is somewhat perplexed in a sense that it was 5 men that they picked up. 5 men that they pick up, and the case is really old. So they're like going back and saying that, okay, there's no statute of limitation on rape, neither rape or murder.
That's interesting. It depends on the time period that went on, because I know somebody called me yesterday about potentially getting picked up on a rape case that happened years ago, maybe like 5-6 years ago. But that's interesting. You said that they picked up some DNA?
Yes. What they're saying is that they owe this technology. They owe them picking up these 5 men to technology, DNA technology. And I'm like saying, well, it's so confusing, and they're not talking too much because they can't talk too much, but
that's going to be interesting from the defense side, with them having to get experts to test that out.
Yes. Caller, you have a question or a comment for Attorney?
Yeah, good morning, Margie and Brother Valo.
Good morning, Attorney Dwyer. Yes.
Good morning, Mr. Paul. That's Mr. Paul out of Lake Charles.
Oh, hey, Mr. Paul.
Hey, what's up, Margie? Hey, y'all got a good show this morning, and I seen that feed line. Hey, y'all coming in Treetop Tower, loud and clear, Treetop Tower.
Yes. Oh, good. That's good to know.
Hey, y'all sound great. Hey, man. Hey, thank y'all last year, because y'all moving something over there.
Oh.
Y'all got to continue to get the word out to the people and to motivate the people and educate them. And hey, I'm loving what y'all doing, man. Y'all, hey.
Okay.
Man, y'all doing great work in the Lafayette area.
Oh, thank you.
And Brother Wild is key. Man, you keep on keeping on, y'all.
Yes,
my name, my code word, AKA.
Yes, sir. But thank you so much for listening and tuning in.
You have you made a comment. Thank you. You have a question?
Hey, I'm going to tell you. Well, not really. Hey, I got a comment. I'm tired of living in the skunk. Louisiana being the skunk of the world, man. I'm sick of it.
Okay.
We got changes to do. We got an election going on, whether people believe it or not. Hey, this is an election of a lifetime we facing right at this moment in time. We need that other million people that hasn't been showing up. We need at least 80% participate from our community, and we'll see the change we're looking for.
That,
and it's not going to happen with 10% or less.
yes.
And I say quite the contrary. This is not a red state. It's just a non-participate citizenry state.
Yes.
That's our problem. Non-participation. It's an inaction. And holding people accountable for what we facing as a state and a nation. It's no different. It's all connected. Hey, man, I'm sick of it, man.
Yes.
Hey, I'm concerned where our drinking water comes. With this, all these environmental issues. I'm concerned about the failure of education in the state of Louisiana. They're committing a fraud. Let me tell y'all something, man. It don't take a rocket science to look what they're doing. These programming our children, dumbing them down with this education. Man, I ain't never seen you get more than 100%. Hey, what kind of math they talking about? All I know, 100% is 100%. Anything more, you going to jail. You committing a fraud. So hey, we got some problems in Louisiana, but it's our own for choosing not to get involved. Hey, we ought to be fed up. Enough is enough what's going on in this state.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, I'm saying this man, hey, we got a task ahead that we need to show up. And I'm holding people accountable. 80%, I don't have to get out there and beg you to go vote. If you don't see what's going on around this country, because guess what, the revolution will not be televised. When they look up, it's going to be at your front door, and it's going to be too late.
Yes, that is absolutely.
Hey, freedom is a constant struggle. Freedom, man, you ain't never free. You got to always try to remain free.
Yes. Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Paul. And one thing you had mentioned too is that in our schools, you know, and it starts with that technology. My granddaughter, she's on there and she's like saying, "Hey, I love you," and stuff like that. Well, how do you spell you? She is spelling you as the alpha, as just the letter U, not Y-O-U. That is confusing because of the simple fact that when you're gonna have to take a test, you're gonna go ahead and put right you, or better yet, one teacher when I went to schools when I was in college, she told me, "Well, I sent everybody the assignment." I sent everybody the assignment. So I say, "Well, I never got the assignment." "Oh, yes, you did get the assignment." I said, "I didn't get no assignment. So she said, "Give me your phone." So she took my phone and she looked. And she said, "That's the assignment right there." I said, "Well, no, the assignment was F. It was with F. What's that? F, Y information. FY for your information. So I see that and I'm like saying, "Oh, this got to be a bug. This got to be somebody trying to like." I did not know that FYI stood for your information and I didn't do my assignment, but then she could not give me a bad grade for it because I did not understand it. You know, so that's a lot of things where it is dumbing us down more so.
Yeah.
All right. So back on this rape case. So you're saying is that either 4 or 5 men raped this individual, raped this lady, and like 12, 15 years later, you was able to recoup some DNA, and of the recouping of the DNA, you were able to go to these 4 to 5 guys.
So what I'm saying is that's interesting. I would like to see what methods they're using to do that, because that's 12. You said 12 to 15 years ago. How are you coming up with DNA?
Yes, that's right. And where was the DNA all the other times? Don't they supposed to store it in some type of temperature? Why y'all just not deciding to do it? So that's gonna be a really interesting
question. Let me ask you something, Attorney Smith. Always interesting to know if I have to hire an attorney. Do attorneys work with investigator or attorneys are educated to investigate such what Sister Khadija was bringing up about DNA. A lot of attorneys, I heard some people say, you know, everybody got an opinion. Oh, these attorneys not trained and to understand what DNA means and how it's used in cases against you or for you.
So here's the thing. We work with a lot of different people, like as criminal defense attorneys. Investigators are one of them, which go out to the crime scene and get different information for us. As far as the DNA technology, all this kind of different stuff, that's why we have experts. You have experts that come in and, you know, you talk with your experts and you do your own research and figure out about this DNA stuff so that you can be, you know, on point and give what you're supposed to be giving and know what you're supposed to know in court and not just be coming up with a guesstimate. So we have to learn that stuff. No, we didn't go to law school for that. But there are people out there that is their lane that we work with.
One more question, Sister Khadija. You know how young people get caught up in these cases and there's a new term, well, I call it fairly new, they've been using it. What exactly is human trafficking? I tell some people that might be called prostitution, that might be called getting somebody involved in some situation for profits, for money, illegally. So what is exactly is human trafficking?
So it's really like a combination of all of that stuff. In the biggest form of it, what you'll see is, I don't know if you've ever seen like these TV shows or movies where they'll have these big 18-wheelers and they have like 50 people back there that they're taking from one place to another. And like you said, trying to sell them into prostitution or whatever they're trying to do, trying to get money for them.
How about taking people, like, for instance, the common thing about taking people across the border from Mexico? Is that human trafficking technically, or is just like smuggling, illegal smuggling of human beings?
It depends on what the purpose is. So the purpose is going to be what makes it human trafficking. If you just trying to smuggle somebody into the U.S. because they don't want to live in their country because they feel it's better over here, that's not human trafficking. If you're trying to get money and sell them and whatever, prostitution, all the rest of this stuff, that's human trafficking.
And all that falls under, let's say some of that falls on one big umbrella. Like, you know, in the old days it was called prostitution, but even getting people to do some things that might be illegal, you know.
Right.
You know, so, that's something.
Big umbrella.
That's something people should pay attention to, because I see more and more local jurisdictions, and especially in the state of Louisiana, are charging people with human trafficking.
Yeah.
You know.
You have to watch stuff like that.
I'm for it, but I'm just saying the terms change.
Absolutely.
You know? The terms have changed.
But they do so much. Like, they might kidnap some kids and, like, it's different forms of it. It's a big umbrella.
Okay. That's good to know. Yeah, just a few laws on the books.
Absolutely. So these laws are very interesting. They have one that
Khadija could be interested in.
right, that extends what veterans could get. And it says that they could potentially get millions more veterans or their survivors could be eligible to receive health care or financial compensation for toxic exposure related medical conditions. And they have a whole listing of it that wasn't on there before. So that's very interesting. Let's see. Let's go through a couple of these new bills. So we have Senate Bill 175, criminalizes the creation and possession of deep fakes of minors engaging in sexual conduct.
Yeah.
And
that's technology. Again, AI technology will take some image or likeness of an individual and use it in that type of way, whether it's online or whether it's through your phone or other platforms dealing with digital recreation. You know, so Khadija, this stuff is getting dicey out there, man, with AI, like you said.
Right.
On the Saturday show.
Right. Well, I don't know, but I kind of like lost my train of thought.
Okay.
I wanted to say that they're letting you know that in order for veterans to be qualified for that they either had to serve at Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune or Marine Corps Air Station New River between August the 1st of 1953 and December the 31st, 1987. And you see, that's
a lot of people went through those.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying that a lot of them didn't go through it, but my biggest problem is the fact is that they letting you know that you had to be either at these two bases.
Right.
I know of several good veterans friends. Joe was one of them who used to bake some of the best pies. He was just a baker at the Piccadilly in New Iberia, and he had suffered. He had suffered from Agent Orange, and the administration came out and say, well, you know, we didn't do no Agent Orange. There was no Agent Orange, and he was so persistent. And my deepest sympathy to Agnes, but they never once had said, well, you all right. You did. You were exposed to Agent Orange.
And such a young man that died, you know.
Yes. You was exposed to Agent Orange. So
and a good brother too, very good.
Oh yes, a very good brother. So I'm just wondering, you know, at least a baby step is better than no step at all. Right. But then it's
up to Congress to keep trying to get some better laws on the book and advocates.
But do they go back and compensate you for the 12, 15 years that you tried to get the money, or are they gonna just say, well, it's starting today? You see,
that's a valid point.
Catch 22.
Right, that is very valid.
And so another thing, when transfer of evidence. To me, there's some type of transferring of evidence if indeed talking about these 4 or 5 men that has been arrested for rape charges, 12 in 2010. I'm thinking I'm kind of remembering a little bits and part of it. So how did the transfer of evidence come into play?
But that's what I'm saying. That's something else. So the legal term for that would be the chain of custody. So how are you keeping up with the evidence? So that's something else. So, I mean, that's going to be a very interesting case to watch as to how they even got that chain of custody, all of that.
Yes, indeed.
It's a lot.
Yes, it's definitely a lot.
Let's see. So some more of these bills. So Senate Bill 124 increases the penalty for driving a vehicle without a license plate attached. Let's see. House Bill 258 creates a state maritime academy within the University of Louisiana system. House Bill 121 requires public schools that include kindergarten through 5th grade to provide at least 15 minutes of recess per day. I thought that they already provided recess.
Yeah, I thought so too.
That's interesting. I might open that one up and see the exact wording of that. Senate Bill 135 recognizes the value of midwives and implements a Medicaid reimbursement rate for midwifery services. That's good.
That would be really good.
Senate Bill 229 expands the boundaries of the New Orleans Exhibition Hall Authority Economic Growth and Development District and amends the tax structure. House Bill 68 authorizes public schools to offer an elective course in the history of literature of the Bible. The law states that the course must maintain religious neutrality and not use any particular translation of the Bible. This is actually interesting because when I was in undergrad, I took what's called a history of Christianity class. It's one of my favorite classes, so this is very interesting.
And the history of Christianity, it brought you all the way back to
the very first church, to the Roman Catholic, like all of that. It went through everything.
Oh, okay, all right. And did it also go through all of the rapes and murders, the burial of little infant babies in the grave? It didn't touch on that, or
it did not focus on that. It focused more so on like the religious aspect of like when it started. It didn't have all of that.
Okay,
it would have been interesting if it had all of that, but it didn't. That one didn't. Because I'm not sure if this one will have that or not.
Oh. All right, because I remember learning a little bit about our history. One of the first slave ship was named Jesus Christ.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
One of the
I
first
didn't know that.
slave
You're teaching me
ship
something today.
was named Jesus Christ. So it's amazing. You know,
Wow.
they come there with the Bible.
Right.
When they leave in the Bible with the Africans, and then took all the land, the gold, and everything that goes with it. Yes, indeed.
Wow. Let's see. House Bill 55 is also known as the Mental Healing Justice for Incarcerated People Act, which allocates funding for access to better mental health services in state prisons and screenings for inmates with mental health disorders. This is so important.
I'm going back, and I don't want you to have to constantly go over, but the issues with automobile registration and so forth.
With the license plate?
With the license plate.
Okay.
Sometimes I wonder, these bills, and I know I'm making a comment, does
an appointment, right, all this stuff, and then you can't make an appointment there. You have to make an appointment online, you know, all of this. So if people don't have a license plate, I mean, I'm assuming maybe they don't have the money for it. So then if you're penalizing them for not having it, then you add on more money. And then the longer that they can't get it is more penalties that are adding on. So to me, it just like snowballs into a different issue.
Yeah, the laws seem to be getting a little bit more harsher when the Louisiana legislature convene the Senate and the representative, and let that be something of interest to the people who go vote for these people. But when they convene, the first thing they go to is the law books and increases penalties on everything across the board. But it doesn't seem to help Louisiana.
Right.
It seems to be hurting us more and putting more people in poverty. Some people can't use a vehicle to go to work because they got so much arrears concerning at the DMV, Sister Khadija. They're paying notes on the car, and they're paying notes to get their license plate from being flagged. So you got to ask the question, when will someone go to Baton Rouge and think about how can we help alleviate these problems with people not doing the right thing? Because it seems to be something that's not getting better.
Right. And then this one lady, she had told me that she was stopped by the state trooper in New Iberia, right there off on Center Street, where they were hot and rampant. And she said she was stopped for for not having her seatbelt on. So seatbelt violation, all right. Then she said when he pulled up, when he pulled up the rest of her information, it was like, well, you don't have insurance neither. Well, her insurance had just expired yesterday. And so now from a seatbelt violation to now insurance expired yesterday, now he has towed her car. It seems like they just escalate.
It is, and then she's gonna have some stuff from the DMV for not having insurance. Then that's coming.
That's right. That's right.
And all of these harsh laws pertaining to a motor vehicle and the driver's license haven't pushed the insurance rates down. Louisiana has one of the highest insurance rates, and they're saying, well, that's because the people, while they're not with their vehicles, but guess what?
No, it's not.
If you're selling alcohol, you got a state that's promoting alcohol and tobacco. Well, you got to expect some of that stuff in this state. I mean, these people don't even get it. They don't have a clue what is wrong with Louisiana and what they're gonna do to attempt to fix everything.
You know, even though I don't smoke, you know, and I periodically do drink, is nothing wrong with alcohol behind the scene. I mean, at your home.
Behind the scene.
Just don't drive and
drink and drive.
Drink and drive. Just don't do it like that. Yeah. But the laws that they need to be concerned with is like, you know, why our mortality rate is so high here in the state of Louisiana. They just done a segment with this black lady say, well, I went to this prominent a hospital in Baton Rouge, and I'm not going to say the name because you always want to say be careful, but it's the alphabet starts with L. But, you know, and she said that she had all of this, she wasn't feeling right, she's pregnant and everything, and she went to the one in Baton Rouge, and they told her...
She's African American?
Yeah, they told her, well, you know, things will be fine. She went to another one, another hospital, and they told her that things would be fine, but at the same time, she's in all kind of pain. They're telling her to take a little to take Tylenol. Tylenol to help relieve her and
kill your liver.
Yeah. Right. What it is?
Yeah. No, I'm just saying when it kill your liver. I mean, mess up your liver if you take too much of it.
Okay, all right. And what she's saying is that she was in the midst of a miscarriage, but because she's black and they have that stigma on us that we don't feel pain like white women feel pain.
She's on to something because there's some studies that come out with a lot of the major universities think tanks that black women
that's what I was gonna say.
Has the worst health outcome when it comes to pregnancy and issues with women's health. Black women has it because of some implicit bias against black women in the medical system. That's what they say. I'm not writing that.
It's a lot on that.
Go Google it and read the article yourself.
So just by our color, they can say, well, you have a high intolerance for pain. Give me my pain. Give me my medicine, my pain pill.
It's just disproportionate. And it's like he talked about, like with these studies. Yeah. Like for whatever the reason is, we just don't get the same type of medical care. Like studies show it.
Yeah, there's even studies about doctors in California have a underlying racism towards that's overall against people of color. Some doctors have that. There's a study on that, and you keep seeing these articles popping up. And I say, I wonder if somebody making this articles up. But when you go back and see that this university studied this university studied, Harvard University, if you want to, and even some major black HBCUs, they studied the same thing and all come to the same conclusion.
Right. And if I'm going to see the doctor, why I need to write down what my race is? I always write down I'm white, because to me, I get
you don't look white.
Well, that's beside the point. I may have more of their blood in me than my own blood.
Okay.
So you're like saying, no, I'm white, so I expect to be seen, and I expect to be seen immediately.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So this is the open line. Attorney Dwyer.
Attorney Dwyer, rolling the day.
I'm too tickled. Okay, so back to these bills. Let's see. House Bill 55, also known as the Mental Healing Justice for Incarcerated People Act, which allocates funding for access to better mental health services in state prisons and screenings for inmates with mental health disorders. Yeah. As a criminal defense attorney, this is so important. The two major things that I see with clients are mental health and drug and alcohol abuse. So this is so important. Everybody that needs to be in prison, and if they are, there definitely needs to be some great services for them.
And again, I say, if I'm an attorney and I'm living in New York, I said, where can I get? And I'm a criminal defense attorney. Where can I get the best outcome for me to make some money? I would go to Louisiana because guess what? We smoke, we drink, we promote all the bad vices of life that would make us get in trouble. I'm gonna put that in there too.
And not only that, but they also say that if you have like 3 glasses of wine a week, that's good.
That's moderated for heart health. There's some studies on that, and that's left to be open. And I believed in it first, but then when you told me to stop drinking the wine, I just listened to you. Look, she's looking at me.
Right, no comment.
Right.
She did give that advice, y'all.
Right, and they have also been studies that they mention that we need to be able to, with all of the horrific things that's going around us, all the wars, all the unnecessary killings and stuff like that, we need to be able to laugh, smile out loud. There even exercise where people just go and they just laugh out loud because what they're saying is that it releases tension, it releases stress. So we got to be able to put some of the humor in with some of our most despicable things that's going on.
Well, I don't know about in this state. I mean, you can't be, you got to be serious because there's some serious stuff going on, and especially this election cycle. There's a lot of, and nobody, I don't see nobody have a clue to fix the things in the state that we talk about every Wednesday on the open line, Sister Khadijah. It's But all these laws in the book, here we go again, Attorney Dwyer. Why are they being put on the books?
Some of this stuff, like I've said several times, like I honestly don't even know, like
overkill.
the mindset behind some of this stuff. But I mean,
they're gonna soon be giving you 20 years to life for having an expired license plate. You never know.
Well, no,
you never know with these people.
I know they're trying to. I don't know. I think they did pass it where if you're caught with fentanyl,
Fentanyl is bad right
Yeah.
now. So that's one thing you don't want to be caught with right now.
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah.
Right, because it kills so many people, and
Right.
a lot of times. So that law, it did get passed. That it's if you're caught with so much,
I think so. Yeah.
A gram.
Just sign it into the law.
right, you will get a life sentence.
Yeah, because so the way that I'm understanding that the prosecutors are looking at it is like we're talking about. So basically, if you are dealing fentanyl, giving out fentanyl, doing all of this, you know that it's going to kill people. So it's like you're intentionally engaging in that.
Not
So
only
that's
that,
the way they're looking at
You're
it.
endangering the general public, Khadija, because it's highly, it's a highly effective situation with that. If you touch it, you can get affected.
Okay, all right. If you touch it, you could, you something can happen to you. But then that's today when Oliver North took and sent all those drugs and weapons dealing with the Iran Contra Act. That was fine and dandy for him to do that. That was fine and dandy. He didn't even get a slap on the wrist. So. I just say that the law needs to be fair at all times.
It's the disparities. That's the problem. Is
disparities.
Exactly.
And we're live with your open line,
And
Attorney
how about,
Dwight.
Attorney Smith, how about public defenders? Are they still having issues concerning funding for the office?
Yes.
Okay.
That's always a major issue. It definitely is an issue in the 15th.
Okay.
And just the amount of cases that we get, it's, and it's not stopping with the fentanyl, with the guns,
Yes,
and,
yes.
with all of that. So,
Let's say the ballpark figure, not exactly, the amount of murders and criminal defense cases that are being handled in the courts, not to give away none of your information, but, for what you gather as an attorney, are they pretty high right now? The number of people on trial for murder?
And they're increasing.
Okay.
And a lot of it is younger people.
Yes.
Like,
very
the gun
young.
situation
Very
with
young.
the young people is bad right now. Absolutely.
Wow. Yeah, and I don't see any. Haven't seen anything on that list of gun laws because I know they've been changing gun laws left and right to be more liberal with the sense of people having access to guns.
But the problem is, so in Louisiana, we are the sportsman's paradise. We some gun-toting, gun-loving, Second Amendment following folks. So,
but they're carrying it in urban areas, and the sportsmen are the people killing each other in the streets. That's what they don't understand. And here we go again. So that'd be my fourth comment about the state of Louisiana being so bad. So.
Absolutely. So let's see. I have a couple more of these laws to read to y'all. Senate Bill 169 requires state police to track rape kits from collection through storage through conviction. State police are allowed to phase in this policy, but it must be fully implemented by summer 2024.
Well, my opinion on that, the state police has a lot to rectify with itself before we could keep giving them control over every aspects of investigation and even overseeing other jurisdictions. Maybe some other jurisdictions are much better than being as honest as the Louisiana State Police. I don't care who's running it.
Well,
it has to be proven. If they cannot give justice to Ronald Green, why would I trust them to be investigating somebody's rape issue? So that's just me.
Well, and then not only that, but the most powerful people in the state of Louisiana, you may think that would be those millionaires or whatever, but no, that's your district attorneys, your sheriffs, and out of our 63 parishes, we only may have like maybe 2 or 3 black sheriffs, and the rest are all white sheriffs. I mean, that type of disparity. How much longer you think that it could go on?
Well, even the way law enforcement is governed, because if you recall, Reverend Brown, good friend, Marlon Gusman of New Orleans Parish Sheriff, he had a lot of issues in that jail. They had to close that jail downtown because it was so bad. So Marlon Gusman is a black guy. So It does not. It means the mentality of the way law enforcement has been governed. Sometimes it's not just the person; it's the mentality of law enforcement here in this state. That's the problem.
That's very true. Let's see. House Bill 523 extends the amount of time minors can be held in an adult lockup if a juvenile detention facility is not available to up to 48 hours. The minors must be separated from adult offenders. And then this is one that we had already talked about before. House Bill 5 allows mothers of children to recoup 50% of out-of-pocket pregnancy-related medical expenses from the biological father within a certain time period.
Oh, they have a cap on it, a certain time period? All
Because
right.
like we talked about before, first you have to establish that's the biological father.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know, then you can try to recoup that.
Right. So to go ahead and just do that, well, let me just take a test. Let me just take a test.
Right.
Let me just take a test.
And there's way more laws. I just kind of read a couple of them. So I would advise y'all to go on the Louisiana Legislature website and, you know, just look through all of those laws for yourself to see what's on the books.
I hate to bug
it's
you
a lot.
with that when you come in. That's so depressing.
No, because they need to know what's going on. Because the truth of the matter is a lot of people are not going to go and look and
At
see
the
what's
law.
going on. Right.
You know how to well govern yourself. And also, and I'm going to just say that, give Attorney Dwight a lot of business, because if y'all got to stop committing all these crimes and people. And here's what I'm saying. Louisiana expects you to commit crimes. Lawyers, criminal defense lawyers, expect to have a job every week. I know I'm saying this tongue in cheek.
It's
but
true.
we got to try to control ourselves when we don't. It would be a good thing not to need a lawyer. I'm just saying it for average person. It'd be a good thing for Attorney Dwight to always have a case going that she could look up in the morning on Monday morning. So I'm just saying it's
But let me say this. Take that energy and funnel it into positive energy.
Right.
Build you a business. Do something else. I tell all my clients that they know. I fuss all the time. I don't care. I don't want to see you back over here. I want you to do something positive with your life.
And some people don't want to hear that. Our people don't want to hear that speech, you know, stay out of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the best and easiest speech to give somebody. Stay out of trouble. Avoid trouble. And they always say, well, no, trouble come looking for me. Really?
Mm-hmm. And even if you look at it, we should be able to ask a lawyer from Friday to Sunday, which to me would be like your high rate of disturbances on the phone for like $25 a fee. Look, I got this question here. I was stopped. You know, I didn't have my seatbelt on all the way. I couldn't put it on all the way.
What's all the way? What's
Sound
half of the
like
way?
somebody been doing that for
I was about to say,
a long
what's
time.
half of the way? I'm trying to picture this.
You know, like I could only put a seatbelt like halfway.
Just pull it across? Okay, I
Yeah,
got you.
halfway
And not
through my
buckle.
body because I'm still healing from the other part. So if we had just this little business model, call Friday through Sunday, a 24-hour service where you could ask a lawyer, and for that fee, how they do that? I mean, look, you just send me my $25 through this little card and stuff, and I'm gonna ask you your question. Now, if you asking more than 2 questions, you should be able to get a discount.
That's a good idea. My colleague, she's giving you a business for the weekend.
Yes,
Good idea
indeed.
for real.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. But right, and again, any questions or comment, you need to call in like right now, or it's going to be a little bit too late. Or Attorney, do I have to leave, or we will answer to the best of our ability? And you can't. I'm not gonna be able to quote things like I should be able to quote things because I don't have that line of expertise.
And I know we were advertising to get Attorney Ben Crump on, but talking to him yesterday, they said he might be on a plane going to L.A. Him and brother Arthur Reeves, a.k.a. Silky Slim.
Silky Slim.
We appreciate Silky. Silky is working now for Attorney Ben Crump, and we know Brother Arthur Reed started out on the Community Defender show on your show.
Yes, with Brother
Khadijah.
Oscar and Brother Darrell.
And you had a chance to interview Ben Crump a while back on concerning the Victor White case. So,
you had good memory.
We trying to bring some great topics to KIEE 88.3. Please support this station. Please support AOC Community Media, which we are live on now, Cox 15 LUS Street. I'm going to read this briefly. I'm going to let Attorney Smith comment on this. High-profile attorney calls for federal civil rights charges on Ronald Green killing. Renowned attorney is calling for a federal civil rights charges in the killing of black Louisiana motorists by the Louisiana State Police. Ben Crump, who has worked on several high-profile civil rights cases such as George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, has asked the United States Department of Justice to launch an investigation into the Ronald Green case and file charges against officers who are involved from the Louisiana State Police. So that's the headline on yesterday. He was in front at the Union Parish in North Louisiana Union Parish Courthouse calling for that yesterday.
I think Attorney Crump does a good job with all of those cases. And I mean, like we talked about earlier, sometimes it takes attorneys like Attorney Crump to come down and to kind of, force people's hands. So
yeah. Well, and Miss Mona Harden, and if anybody's listening, give our sympathy. She is one woman who's determined to get justice for her son.
Right.
Yes, indeed. They were in Baton Rouge for the on behalf of the hearing for
the
Carl,
DOJ.
Carl Cavalier.
For the hearing for Carl.
Carl Cavalier at the 19 JDC in Baton Rouge, and it was pretty packed, but it should have been all the way around the block packed, and stuff, because like she's doing this not just for her loss can never be gained, but to make sure that it don't happen to nobody else. But you know what? The state police and the coroner, those are two sets of organization that really works together within each other. So the state police, hypothetically speaking, to tell the coroner, well, he died from being choked to death.
Right.
And then the coroner say, well, no, he died from a bullet being shot in his back. Then the coroner, then the state police will come back and say, well, what? Didn't he had a heart attack before the bullet hit him, so he was going to be dead anyway? You see, so that's the type of...
That's just an example of something?
Right. That's a good example of it, because
they actually use them scenarios in some other cases.
You got to think outside the box when you're dealing with people that's unfaithful. Caller, you have a quick question or comment? You're on.
Good morning to all of you. I had kind of a question. Remember the shooting where that child got killed? I want to say maybe about 3 weeks ago, with the shootout with the police and this man. Did they ever say the bullet that they found in the child, who the bullet belonged to? That kind of brought to mind what you just stated.
Well, if they didn't say it, trust me, then you could really think about who bullet it actually was. If they did not say, because they're quick to let you know, well, yeah, it came from Jordy Gunn and stuff like that. So if they didn't say it, you could bet your bottom dollar that it came from the police.
But they should acknowledge that. And not let it fall on that. I think it was the dad of that child.
Right.
That was shooting, right.
Yeah. Well, they just don't have moral compass.
They should have at least been fair about it. And, I guess they don't want the fact that the police actually was the one that killed the child.
That's right.
That should be brought up.
Yeah, it should be brought up.
Yeah, because to my understanding, the mother couldn't even see her child.
Yes.
Okay, thank y'all. Y'all have a blessed day.
Yes, you too.
Maybe Attorney Dwyer can help out some kind of way.
Okay. All right. So yes, that is something to think about, and it reminds me of Arsenio Hall. Arsenio Hall, when he had his night show and everything, he used to put his fingers to his temple, and he used to say, something to make you think about. Yes, indeed.
I
yes,
can't believe you that old. You was watching that show.
Well, I'm 64, so.
Okay.
All
right.
Yeah, I'm proud of it.
Yeah, I mean,
the gray hair that you see. Yep, proud of
would
it.
you sign a paper stating that's your real age?
That. Say, wait, I didn't
No,
catch
you know,
it.
because I tell people when they quote me on something, say they can do something, say, well, put it in writing.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I was telling you about.
Okay,
They
yeah.
don't want to put it in writing.
Honey, don't want to put it. I'll put it in writing. That's for sure.
All right, we had an attorney over here, so that's why I felt free to ask that question.
Okay, Don. Okay, you come up with CA at times, and what is CA? Convenient amnesia. Don't let me go the other way.
I'm not saying nothing. I mean,
okay.
I'm in the presence of a great attorney.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And so remember, listening audience, they're letting you know it's gonna be hot.
Yes.
Please stay cool. Please check on your relatives.
Stay hydrated.
Yes, please stay hydrated. Don't go outside unless you absolutely have to, and make sure that you've got drunk a lot of liquids when you do go.
Yeah. Is it me or the earth is on fire? Because it's not just over here; it's all over.
Everywhere.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah. So, global warming, that should be something. Ask the person coming, ask you for a vote. Ask them about that. You know. So, sister, anything else? We'll roll up into this segment. I think Attorney Smith has to leave at 10, or she want to stay longer. That's it.
Yeah. No, I have to, because I'm in the office today, so I need to catch up on a couple things before I have court again.
Okay.
Yes, and I wanted to mention, too, Beyond the Zoom, The Afterlife by George Augustus Starling Jr. is a fantastic read and everything. He was here for Imani Temple 30th anniversary. He was here. Your Excellency was here, Augustus Starling, and it was a really nice banquet. And everything, and so many people participated in it. Deacon candidate Janet McZeal, Ron Nichols, the King Milton Law Group, Dr. Chasson, Clarence and Melinda Sylvester, the NAACP, Margie, Queens of Verde Chapter, African American Heritage Foundation, SWLA Juneteenth Committee. Oh, entertainment was provided by DJ Vinny V. And you know what? He's with DJ Vinny V. I don't know what radio station he's with, but
Cumulus.
Cumulus.
They own several others.
Okay. What's the call number?
I'm not gonna call those stations.
Oh, all right. Well, no, I just thought. I mean, he did such a good job.
Yeah, well, everybody knows. Yeah.
Okay, he did such a good job playing.
I promote
jazz.
KIE 88.3, the station we own right now.
Yeah, I went and I told him he got to come in on our station one day. He said, well, yeah, he said he's gonna come. He's kind of busy right now, but he will be. He will come. That'll be really good because we could like play together. But again, we want to thank you so much for coming out, Attorney Dwyer. Look forward to you.
Yes, ma'am. Let me give my closing remarks. So if y'all need to get in contact with me, y'all can contact me at 337-534-4020. Once again, 337-534-4020. Now, I do have court next week, but I will be back in studio the week after that.
Okay. Hopefully, we'll get that free invitation to a certain restaurant that we've been talking about.
They out of crawfish now.
Yes, yes, indeed. Are you going to go ahead and play Ronnie Laws again?
Yes, sir.
All right.
It's summer and it's hot at KIEE 88.3 FM, your superstation for South Louisiana. We have the hottest talk and informational shows on the air, heating it up for the community. Tune in every Wednesday for the Open Line Radio Show with Brother Jay and Sister Khadijah. Tune in on Fridays for Business to Business with Mr. June Andrus. On Saturday morning, educate and get informed on the latest technology and entertainment news with Brother Jay on the People's Tech and Entertainment Show. Yes, it's hot and and it's summer, so stay cool with your favorite talk and informational shows here on KIEE 88.3 FM, your superstation for South Louisiana. Listen online. Go to KIEEFM.com. That's KIEEFM.com.
All right, summer's here. Let's all cheer. For music and fun in the sun, tune in now. Don't miss out on our radio show, Let's Go. With beats so hot you'll never stop, dancing to the rhythm of the night. So come on down and gather round for a summer of music and delight. Summertime and Me with 88.3.
We are interactive and live. Call us at area code 337-534-0036. That's 337-534-0036. On the Open Line Radio Show on KIEE 88.3 FM, your superstation for South Louisiana.
I'm just not. Hi. My name is Amari. I just wanted to say a few words about gun violence in Louisiana. I'm just 9 years old. Last month, I lost my big brother who had just turned 15. He was at a party when someone started a fight. Someone came back and started shooting. My brother was shot. He later died, at the hospital. Our family was devastated. My mom still cries about it. I am telling my short story, so that anyone listening, will understand and help spread the message of stop the gun violence in Louisiana. Please stop.
This is an Open Line Radio, public service announcement, serving the community with information.
Have you ever looked in a face of age? I'll lend your ears to what an old man had to say. 'Cause every generation of his life reflects a movie scene, often more than twice. Child is born to live within the master plan. Boy grows up, leaves his home to be a man. Vintage years of wine for the wise. Every generation of our lives.
Yes, we are back with part two, Hotep Habarigani. Assalamu alaikum. How y'all doing out there? We do have our spectacular brother, Brother Abdul, on.
From Chicago.
From Chicago. And Brother Abdul is such a genius when it comes down to teaching our being a principal, and some things has happened. Brother Abdul, can you just get right up into it?
Oh, absolutely. First, assalamu alaikum, Sister Khadija,
Walaikum salam.
to you and your guests, and I thank you for definitely having me on the show.
Yes,
So, Sister Khadija, as you know, I've been an educator for our children in Chicago, Black children in Chicago, for 29 years, and have had tremendous success everywhere I've gone. But this year, the Chicago public school systems launched an attack against me. With the help of 7 white teachers at my school and 1 black clerk. They told over 83 lies to the Chicago Public Schools Law Department. And the law department took every one of those lies as facts. And on March 31st, they removed me from the school. So this is the fight that we're fighting, Sister Khadija. We're fighting for the education of our children. We're fighting for the minds of our babies. Because what the Chicago Public Schools wants to do is remove strong black male leadership from schools where you have majority black children. So that's the fight that we're in right now.
And that is an honorable fight. We want to thank you for always fighting on behalf of our children. Now, when you say that they removed you, they fired you and just plumb fire you off of the 82 lies?
No, it did not necessarily. So what they do is, the first thing they do is remove you from the school. So they don't quote unquote fire you. They remove you, and then they give you 60 days, after they drag your name through the mud, they give you 60 days to try to find another position. So technically they are firing you. So yeah.
Yes. And how can you actually fight it? By having an appeal before the school that actually fired you?
Yeah, well, so that's the thing, Sister Khadija. There is nobody that you can appeal to, and it's not just me. Once the situation happened with me, and I stood up and started to fight back, then other black principals who were also targeted. So I'm not the only one. There were other black principals who were also targeted. When I stood up and started to fight back, those other principals realized that they were targeted as well and stood up and fought back. So in Chicago, there is no separate body that you can go to and say, look, this report, this investigation, what they did to me is wrong, because the Chicago Public Schools is the judge as well as the jury. And so this is why we're taking our fight directly to the mayor, because the mayor is over the schools and the mayor can make the decision, right? The mayor can make one phone call. The mayor can direct his Board of Education to investigate what's happened to these black principals. And if what's happened to the black principals is not fair, and it's not, then the mayor can have every last one of these black principals at these black schools protecting black children, can have them reinstated. So the power is really in the mayor's hands to make a change. That's why we're asking everybody to go on justiceforabdulmuhammad.com. Justiceforabdulmuhammad.com. You can sign the petition, and you can also send a message straight to the mayor from that website, justiceforabdulmuhammad.com, and ask the mayor to use the power that he already has to reinstate these black principals that have been targeted and unfairly removed from their position, providing quality education for black children.
Brother Abdul, Brother Jay here. How important, our listening audience, to get them abreast on why they should be concerned about what's happening to you in Chicago, how big a deal this is for other black principals and other black educators around the country who wants to emphasize some type of legacy where young black boys can look up to black men who are principals. How important is your case?
So, brother, I'll say it like this, that everybody saw this fight that happened down in Montgomery, Alabama, where these white people attacked the brother that was asking them to move their boat from the wrong spot, right?
Yes.
So the brother was doing his job, asked them to move the boat. The white people attacked the brother. Next thing you know, the brother threw his hat up like the bat signal, and black people came from everywhere because they saw our brother was in distress. That one situation has inspired black people all over the country and black people all over the world, right? Because what they saw was, they saw the arrogance of white people and the nerve of them to attack a brother for doing his job. Well, the black principals in Chicago are in a similar fight. We're fighting not just because of we are fighting the arrogance of white people, but the greatest fight that we can fight is for the minds of our children. And what white people want is they want to control access to the minds of our children. And we have to fight for that. So what we noticed once this started to get national attention, because you have people like Attorney Ben Crump that is involved. Once this started to get national attention, we've been getting messages from black educators all over the country saying that the same exact thing is happening in their city. So if we fight it in Chicago and win, then we can fight it in Baton Rouge. We can fight it in Lafayette. We can fight it in all of those parishes in Louisiana where the exact same thing is happening, where a strong black man comes into an educational environment, transforms that environment, and then the arrogant white leadership who doesn't want strong black male leadership over black children plots and plans and schemes to remove that person. This is a fight that's starting in Chicago, but it's a fight that we have to fight all over the country, because this is what's happening to black educators, black parents, black communities, black pastors, black ministers. We need to get involved in the fight for the education of our children, because this is the greatest fight that we can be involved in.
Yes, indeed.
Yes,
it sure is. And I remember addressing the Iberia Parish School Board on a lack of African American teachers, on a lack of high expulsion rate among our young black men. I mean, this is so serious that it continues to go on unless you put a stop to it.
Absolutely. So, you know, people talk about the school to prison pipeline. So now that's not a myth. That's not a theory. That's an actual fact. There is a pipeline. You talked about the suspension and the expulsion rate of young black men. In the schools, what you have is you have a majority white teaching staff in most of these schools, and the majority of those teachers are white females. They cannot relate to young black men. They see them as a threat, and the code of conduct book is used as a punitive tool to punish young black men. And in school districts all across the country, young black boys are suspended and expelled at a higher rate than everyone else. Even if they're a smaller percentage of the population, they are expelled. Well, you have black educators like myself who can go into schools, build relationships with young black men, and lower the suspension rates, lower the expulsion rates. In the 25 years that I've been in Chicago public schools, every school, not one school, not two schools, every school that I have walked into, we've transformed that school. And I'm talking about some of the most challenging environments in Chicago. You hear about Chicago, you hear about the gang violence, you hear about this and that. But what you don't hear about is the work of those people that are working with our children to transform it. I've done that work for the last 25 years, and black educators are doing that work all over the country. And we are being targeted because the white people in power have already established the school to prison pipeline. And they want their children to have opportunities and jobs, and they want our children to have a pathway to prison. And the only way we can stop the school to prison pipeline is by defending black educators against these unfair attacks and removals, because if we're not there, then who are we leaving our children to?
Yes, sir.
We're leaving our children to the very people that constructed the school to prison pipeline. So, brothers and sisters, I worked in a school that was in a jail right here in Chicago in the juvenile detention center school. I worked in there with the GDs, the BDs, the Vice Lords, the Four Corner Hustlers, the Black Souls, the Latin Kings, the EBKs. I worked with them every day. And because I built relationships with them, because I was a strong black man in front of these young black boys and these young Latino boys, when I was there, this was the first time that they could bring all of those brothers in the same room together without there being a confrontation. So this is the transformative work that I've done in every school. Everybody has something bad to say about Chicago, but they don't recognize the transformative work that is happening right in the city of Chicago with our children. In fact, what Chicago Public Schools wants to do is destroy that work that the black principals are doing so that that school to prison pipeline can be maintained so that it can be well established. And this is what, but it's not just Chicago. It's every city where our children are. There is a school to prison pipeline in place. If you care about your babies, then you need to get involved in this fight. If you were excited when the fight happened in Montgomery, Alabama, where black people stood up, as they should have. They stood up and defended themselves against white oppression. If that fight made you excited, if that fight made you to tweet and to talk about it, then this fight, which is greater than that, because this is a fight for our children, this is a fight for our future, then we need every black parent, every black minister, every black teacher, every black educator, every black person to get involved in this fight, the fight for the minds of our children.
As you know, brother, Louisiana is dubious when you said school to prison pipeline for being number one in that, in a sense of being that. We know our headlines, and I'm gonna try to draw a correlation because it's about you right now, my brother. But I know
Yes, sir.
you're an expert on these things, and you've seen it from all different aspects. Louisiana right now, the Louisiana Department of Family Services that oversees some of these issues with kids and homes, then connected to the juvenile justice system in the state of Louisiana. Every last one of those agencies has been in the spotlight for some negative outcomes, even to the tune of sending kids, young people, to Angola, putting them housed in death row. This is a problem, my brother. I don't know what you think of that, and that's correlation to what they're doing in these schools, I think.
Brother, that's absolutely. So, you know, the thing that the parents do not realize, this is the part that the black parents don't see. When your children come home and tell you, ask them, baby, what you learned in school today? And your child tells you, mama, I ain't learned nothing. You think they just saying that. But the actual facts is that our children are not being taught. They're being warehoused in these schools, because you don't have teachers in front of them that care about their future. I can give you an example that everybody can relate to. When you read the autobiography of Malcolm X, when Malcolm X was in 8th grade and he had a white teacher, and he went to his teacher and told him, he said, well, the teacher asked him, Malcolm, what do you want to be when you grow up? And Malcolm told him that I want to be a lawyer. And what did the teacher do? Did the teacher say, that's a great idea? Your people are suffering injustice every single day. I've seen you in class. You're a top student. In fact, you're the #1 student in this class. You will make a great attorney. Your people need you. What can I do to help you? Did the teacher give him a response like that?
No.
Did the teacher pour life into Malcolm? No. What did the teacher do? The teacher poured death in his ears. The teacher told Malcolm, oh, you'll never be a lawyer. Your own people won't hire you, and white people won't hire you, but you work well with your hands. He gave him something that wouldn't threaten white supremacy, because him being a lawyer would be a threat to white supremacy. So he dashed those hopes, and then he replaced it with something that would not be a threat to white supremacy. And on that day, when you read the autobiography of Malcolm X, he didn't go back to school because his white teacher destroyed his hopes and put a needle in his brain. So now, was Malcolm the only one? No. The same thing happened to Minister Farrakhan. The same thing happened to so many black people. You talk to your parents. You talk to your grandparents. They had great hopes, and a teacher, a white teacher, dashed their hopes. So now, my question to your audience is the same thing happening in 2023 that happened to Malcolm X? Is the same thing happening? And absolutely. And I'm going to show you how. When your children go to school and they sit in those classrooms, the teacher is not going to come out and say, oh, you'll never amount to anything, because today's children are more sophisticated. They'll record them and put it on YouTube. They'll put it on Instagram, right? Or they'll go home and tell their mamas and show them the video, right? So the teacher's not going to come out and say it, but actions speak louder than words. So if the teacher is not teaching your baby anything, if the teacher is not spending that time, that class time, pouring into your child, then what is the teacher saying? The teacher is saying that your child will not amount to anything, because if they would amount to something, I would spend my time teaching them. So it is the exact same thing that happened to our brother Malcolm. It's happening every day in these schools all across the country.
Wow. That's an interesting, very interesting and true statement, my brother. Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Concerning what's going on, because in our structure here in Louisiana, it's different. We have school boards that technically, and the superintendent that runs schools. The mayor being put in charge of the school over there, is it a difference? Because I know they just had a change of mayor right here in Chicago, in Chicago, right? And was the previous mayor who came under a lot of criticism for other issues, and this one right here, or were they attentive as far as when this last one got elected to understanding the problems with the schools in Chicago?
Absolutely not organized. And that takes time.
Yes.
And those in power use the fact that we're not organized and have to get organized as a way to come against us. So this is why it can't be like a 1-day thing, a 2-day thing. It has to be something that is consistent, something that is ongoing, and we have to organize. We can't just be mad. We have to organize. As Stokely Carmichael, Kwame Ture used to always tell us, we have to be organized.
Yes. And
he said that you need to join an organization. If you can form your own organization, or you can join an organization that's doing something to help your people.
Yes.
That is what we need to do as a people. We have to organize.
Caller, you have a question or a comment? You're on.
You talking to me?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. I have a comment. And I'm calling on behalf of Aspen Dental in Lafayette, Louisiana, that I have been discriminated to the fullest.
Okay, well, that probably be another show. We have our guests talking about the school system.
Oh, okay. Well, what she wanted to say, how she was discriminated against.
Okay.
You was discriminated how?
I've been to the place of business like 7 times. 7 times. And hadn't gotten no results. And then I guess the man that runs the business, he told me that I can go somewhere else after I had been going there several times. And then called the corporate office. The corporate office tell me that I was dismissed from the place of business. I didn't harm nobody, I didn't threaten nobody. It wasn't nothing, that...
Okay. Well, the segment for the Ask a Lawyer is over with, but look, call after the show, and we could put you in contact with somebody. Go ahead. Now my brother, we're going back to our calls. On our show, we have a free and open platform for people to call in with their feelings, and sometimes we get those phone calls when they hear you firing up the audience like you're firing up the audience to get interested in things like what you're going through. So where are you at now with the legal fight? Getting you pursuing getting your job back, or you're trying to change the dynamics within that certain school or schools in Chicago?
Yes, sir. Well, we're fighting all of that. If you go on the website, justiceforabdulmuhammad.com, you have the list of demands that we're making. But what we want is for all the principals that have been targeted. So one of the things that came out of this, brother, once we started to fight back, the Chicago Sun-Times requested certain information from Chicago Public Schools through the Freedom of Information Act. And what we found out through the Chicago Sun-Times is that they bore witness to what we had already been saying. We had already been saying that black principals were targeted. Well, the Chicago Sun-Times reported that only 8% of the principals in Chicago are black men. But there's 70% of the principals that have been removed from their position. So that is an undisputable fact that black men in Chicago public schools who are leaders are being targeted by Chicago public schools. We had been saying that. Another thing that we had been saying is that the Chicago public schools uses these false investigations, these one-sided investigations, to remove principals from their position. The Chicago Tribune agreed with that. They spoke to one of the former inspector generals, and he said that these investigations are substandard. They're subpar. And I can talk specifically about my investigation. There's over 40 people that they didn't even interview. They took 83 lies from these 7 white teachers and did not fact check a single thing that these white teachers said. They took everything they said as facts. We have the facts and can disprove the 83 allegations that these white teachers made. So again, the Chicago Sun-Times agreed with that. The third thing that the Chicago Sun-Times agreed with is that these allegations in this report are petty. I can give you an example. So one example of a petty allegation that they charged against me was that I made strange purchases for students. And then when you read what the strange purchases were, it was balloons and a DJ for a pep rally. That's insane, right?
Yes.
Because you had at a pep rally, that's what you have. You have a DJ, you have balloons, but the law department, like, why would somebody even bring that to the law department? He brought balloons for a pep rally, and then you actually take that as something that I did wrong. Like, that's insanity, right?
Right.
Or it's things like that are all throughout the report. So the charges in the report are petty, but this just goes to prove that black leaders in Chicago, as in every other city, it's not just Chicago, are being targeted. They're being targeted right there in Louisiana. Yes. Because the question that we have to ask is why? Why would they target these black leaders? Because if they want this school to prison pipeline to be maintained, if they want to have the opportunity, I'm talking about those in power want to have the opportunities for their children and rob your children of opportunities, then how can they do that? They have to make sure that your children receive an inferior education. They have to make sure that your children are suspended at a higher rate, because we know that those people who do not have education are more likely to turn to a life of crime.
Right.
So this is not an accident. This is done by design. And what we need to do as a black community, right there in Louisiana, right there in Lafayette, right there in Baton Rouge and New Orleans and Monroe and all those different, we need to unite and we need to fight for the education of our children. Now, let me give you more evidence, because you turn on the television today and all throughout some of these so-called Republican states, they're banning the teaching of black history.
Right.
And they're saying that teaching black history is making white children uncomfortable, and we're banning it. And if you teach it, we're going to fine you. If you teach about the race riots in not Alabama, but the Tulsa race riots and different things, we're going to fine you. This is happening all throughout these so-called Republican states that are run by Republican governors. So why? The question is what we need to be asking. Why would these people want to ban the teaching of black history? Because as Malcolm said, that if a tree is cut off from its roots, then what's going to happen? The tree is going to die. So this is what's happening. It's a concerted effort to destroy our children by not having leaders in front of them that look like them, and then cutting off their access to any knowledge that will cause them to think differently. This is the fight that we have to be involved in.
And even,
the fight for the minds of our children.
And even on the level of, if you're saying that everybody should represent the population of where they come from, even in schools around the country, there are less and less of a presence of black principals or black leadership in these schools, but we have a population majority black schools, public schools, let's put it even in the public schools. And so you're seeing less of a black male figure within the system. So therefore the black male is at the bottom, in the sense that he's not uplifted by having someone you could look up who's actually molding their minds. So that, what you say to that?
And not only that, but also when you look at Catahoula is
Louisiana, yes.
Catahoula, Louisiana is a predominantly white area, really. And nobody, we would never go over there, but then right now they're trying to get the black students to come to their school so that they could receive the federal funding and stuff like that, taking the black kids from their front door and bringing them
reverse busing, I would call it.
Yeah, busing. Yeah, reverse busing, bringing them all the way to Catahoula and stuff like that, because they can't make it without the black kids. But y'all never wanted blacks there anyway. We have a caller. You have a question or a comment?
I just have a comment real quick.
You on?
Thank you. So there is a solar panel manufacturer located in New Iberia, with close proximity to the West End. And to illustrate this prison pipeline, they are closing Anderson Middle School, which is the closest neighborhood to that manufacturing facility that will supply 700 new jobs. So that's just a very clear and specific example of how the infrastructure puts in this prison pipeline for the underprivileged or, the poor community. Also, there is public housing some time between now and when that facility comes online and produces, is looking for the 700 workers. So in that time, we should rebuild Anderson Middle School or put whatever resources into it that bring it up to speed so that it's much more productive. And we'll also work on rebuilding the public housing in that area. Also, you'll notice in St. Martin Parish in Catahoula that Attorney General Jeff Landry has really caused most of the problems. All of the federal input in that problem to try and fix the problem, Attorney General Jeff Landry has tried to completely mess it all up and pull out any federal oversight. Just as Blake Miguez will do if he becomes senator, just as Jared Boyer or Bo Boyer in Liberia has HB 260 that removes federal oversight of state elections. So we need to be clear of where our specific problems are. One clear example is the closing of Anderson Middle School in Liberia.
Okay.
Okay. All right. All right.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Libby. And your phone was kind of garbled a little bit. I think we get the crux of his example. What Mr. Brother Abdul is saying about the prisoners, the school to prison pipeline is how they're closing down these black predominant schools, and they're busing kids off where they could have to serve under or be educated by people who don't have their best interests. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And so, Brother Abdul, you say that to go to justiceforabdulmuhammad.com, and that's go directly to the mayor.
Right. So if you go on the website, justiceforabdulmuhammad.com, there's 3 things that we're asking everybody to do. One thing is to register for the website so we can stay in touch with you, right? The other thing is you can sign the petition right there on the website. And the third thing is you can send an email directly to the mayor of Chicago. And we made it easy. All you have to do is click on his name, the email populates, and you click send. So you don't have to write an email. You can just click on his name. The email populates and you click send, and that's right on justiceforabdulmuhammad.com. And it'll give you a lot of background of what's going on right here in the city of Chicago regarding Chicago public schools targeting black principals for removal.
Yes. And those 3 things is you're registering for the website.
Yes, ma'am.
And number 2
is you signing the petition.
Signing a petition.
And number 3 is you emailing the mayor right from the website.
Okay, emailing the mayor. All right.
And the call is for them to comply with your demands.
Right, and the demands are on the website. And one of the demands is that what we're saying is that black leaders need to be in front of black children. All of the research proves and says that black children do better when they have teachers and administrators in front of them that look like them. So Chicago Public Schools is good for talking and saying we want more black people, right? It's all on their website. But what are their actions? Their actions are the exact opposite. And we have the evidence to prove that they have unfairly targeted black principals in Chicago Public Schools. We have the evidence to prove that they manufactured, with my case, over 83 lies that we can prove to anybody that would look at it that this is false, right? So we have the evidence to show what they're doing against black leaders and black educators. Go ahead.
And one of the lies that they had told was that claiming that you didn't come into work, you came after I think it was after.
Yes, ma'am. I can break it down to you. So one of the teachers lied to the law department. His name is Ian Brannigan. And he said that on December 22nd. So on December 22nd was the first snowstorm in Chicago. So we had a snowstorm. So a lot of people called off work, and we had students that were absent. Right. That's a normal action. So now the teacher, Mr. Ian Brannigan, lied to the law department and said that Principal Muhammad came to work late and that he didn't do anything to help. Well, anybody who is an investigator, anybody that's taking these claims, that's something that you can easily prove or disprove. All you have to do is go to the time clock and see when the person swiped in. The law department didn't do that. But I went to the time clock and I checked the time that I swiped in on December 22nd. I swiped in at 7:47. And Ian Brannigan, the white teacher who lied to the law department, swiped in. I swiped in at 7:46. Pardon me. Ian Brannigan swiped in at 7:47. So that's the level of insanity that the law department is willing to accept, right? Mm-hmm. In order to remove black principals from their position. Every lie that these teachers told was accepted by the Chicago Public Schools Law Department. They did not fact check it. They did not look into it. They accepted every lie as truth and used those lies to remove me from the school so that black children would not have leadership, so that we could not, and when I say we, I'm talking about the other black principals, could not create opportunities for black children, because that's exactly what we're doing. When your caller talked about manufacturing and different things like that. Right here in Chicago, we're putting trades in the schools because we know every child is not going to go to college. But if a child can learn a trade in high school and get certified in high school, then that means that that child can produce a future for itself, right? Through plumbing, through heating and air, through cosmetology, through barbering, through being an electrician, right? So the black teacher, the black principal, pardon me, who understands the dynamics of the black community and the black child, we are creating pathways for our children to be successful. Some may go to college, but some may not. Does that mean that just because you don't go to college, that you should not have a bright future?
No.
But when you take the black principal out, what are you really taking out? You're taking out the pathways that we created for black children. You're taking out the barbering program. You're taking out the cosmetology program. Yes. You're taking out the various pathways that we're creating. You're taking out the nursing program. Because these are the things that we're bringing to children so they can have a pathway and they can have a future. So this is the plan that is being hatched against black leaders in Chicago, but it's not just Chicago, because trust me, it's happening right there, as you all know.
That's right.
It's happening right there in Louisiana. It's happening in Atlanta. It's happening in Detroit. It's happening in Washington, D.C. It's happening wherever you have black children, because the path that those in power want us on is the path to prison. Yes, not the path to entrepreneurship, not the path to post-secondary education. They want us on the path to prison. And we have to stand up. We have to fight. This is a greater fight than the fight that was in Montgomery. Even though that was a great fight, we all saw it. We all got excited. But what we're fighting for is the minds of our children and the future of us as a people.
Well, Brother Abdul, our time has run out. We got to make way for another program here at 88.3. And we appreciate you, my brother, and we're glad we got you on. Brother Dal Muhammad sends his regard again.
Oh, thank you.
Hope to have you back on. Hope to have you make you a regular guest on the open line here at the 88.3 FM here in Lafayette, which serves most of South Louisiana.
And let me say this off the record. Is that we would love to have you come and be principal at one of our schools. Yes. We would love to have you so quick, it's unreal.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I definitely appreciate it. Thank you all for having me on the show.
Yes.
All right, y'all take care. Y'all stay safe.
Walaikum salam.
All right, we'll see you guys next week on another edition of the Open Line Radio Show. Have a great weekend.